communicate with the university via online platforms, but you can visit the UNISA's Sunnyside campus, the perfect setting for students to engage with fellow students over a cup of inspiration. The Science Campus in Florida, Johannesburg, is designed to meet the education and research needs of students in a range of programs, including agriculture, nature conservation, consumer sciences, engineering, computing, and physics, to name a few. Students in the sciences now have access to UNISA's own laboratories, housing some of the most state-of-the-art infrastructure and laboratory equipment available. Distance learning requires that you study at your own time and in your own space, but that doesn't mean you're on your own. You can also visit a UNISA regional center to get advice, meet other students, make use of UNISA services, have conversations with counselors, and use our academic libraries. We offer an unparalleled range of study choices, ranging from short courses and certificate programs to 3- and 4-year degrees, diplomas, as well as master's and doctoral degrees, with close to 380,000 current students. Our rich tapestry of study disciplines includes the College of Accounting Sciences, Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, Economic and Management Sciences, Education, Graduate Studies, Human Sciences, Law, Science, Engineering and Technology, and the Graduate School of Business Leadership, as well as the Thabo Mbeki School of Public and International Affairs. As a comprehensive open-distance e-learning pioneer, UNISA is known for delivering well-designed, interactive study material and integrated student support. Students have access to a menu of support services ranging from face-to-face tutorials and academic literacy services to study groups and e-tutors. One of UNISA's main aims is to harness the new and emerging potential in information and communication technology, catapulting the university into a truly digital future. To this end, examinations are conducted on college-specific exam portals and are accessed from the My Exams portal. UNISA is well placed to address society's most demanding challenges by using research to meaningfully transform the lives of those in our communities. To that end, UNISA is working towards instituting the following catalytic niche areas: marine studies, aviation and aeronautical studies, automotive studies, energy studies, space study and square kilometer array, fourth industrial revolution and digitalization, natural sciences, health studies or medicine, feminist, womanist, Bosadi theorizations, and student support and co-curricular activities. As Africa's leading open-distance e-learning university, UNISA strives to keep up with the constantly evolving higher education landscape in order to serve our students to the best of our ability. We can reflect with great pride on the past 150 years of transformational education, and we are confident in our ability to succeed and become a truly high-performance university as we define tomorrow.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Morning, everyone. The time is exactly 9:30, so we will be starting with the program. Am I audible? Can you all see me? If you can just show with a thumbs up. If you click on the reactions just to see if I'm audible enough.
Yes, Australia, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sharon. Okay, everyone, welcome to day 2 of our Law Professionals event. My name is Gloria Sipula, and I will be co-hosting with you today. I'll be co-hosting today with Tesh. Tesh will be joining us later in the program, and she will introduce herself. Before we start with the program for today, let's just welcome Ms. Mama Shumabua, who is a student counselor at Johannesburg. She is going to do the welcome for us so that we can all feel welcomed and maybe just tell us what today is all about. And before Ms. Mamashu takes over, colleagues, I'm going to switch off my video throughout the program so that we do not consume a lot of data, especially for those that are using their cell phones and their data, because videos, they take a lot of data. So you'll just be hearing my voice in the background, but my video will be off. And I request that we all switch off our mics. If your mic is open for you to ask a question, you will only do that. And then once you are done with the question, you close your mics to avoid interruptions during presentations. Mama Shu, if you are ready, the floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good morning, students. Good morning, presenters. As Gloria has mentioned, my name is Mama Shumawa, and I'm just going to do the opening and welcome, as well as giving you the purpose of the day. It's always a pleasure to host this event as we realize how significant it can be for the students and also for our stakeholders. And it is by purpose that that you are here today as a student to learn from people who have walked the path, and also they took time from their busy schedule to come and enlighten you today. The reason why we are hosting this event is because we realize that as student counseling unit, we are confronted with so many questions from our students as we do career counseling and development. And sometimes we also realize that we are not able to cover everyone. Not always all students understand the purpose of career counseling and why they should attend one. This is why hosting these events, so that you get in contact with the people that have walked the journey, that understand the journey even more than we do. And in that case, you will be able to know more about this and about your profession, and also be able to ask questions and get to understand the people who are in the profession and what they do and how they go about their journey. So we really appreciate you students to be here today and also have the opportunity to learn about your profession. And please, as you are gathered here today, this is the opportunity for you to also ask questions and get clarity. But then, because of time, sometimes we get to run out of time. Also, take note of the contact details, the websites of our presenters, so that you can actually make a thorough research. To our speakers, we really appreciate your time that you always take out to be here with our students and enlighten them on the career that we have chosen with love and passion. So we really appreciate you for being part of us today, and we welcome you, and we hope that you deliver the best as you always do. As UNISA Gauteng Region Counseling Unit, we'd like to welcome everyone who's here today, and to the team that is behind this event. We really appreciate you, and by all this, I'm declaring this event open and everyone should enjoy. We have different speakers, and I'm sure all of them will be able to deliver as they have been requested. We have a career in prosecution by Daphne Rangaka, and then we'll also be having Bongani Ramutsepe, who is also a UNISA alumni who has walked through the journey of becoming a law professional, and will give you some form of motivation on how he maneuvered through his journey as a professional law. As a law professional. We also have Elizabeth Noot Nuvet, who is going to be talking about litigation, court work, and job shadowing from Legal Aid. And of course, we also have Sam Shadung, who is a conveyancer, and will also give us a way on how to become a conveyancer in the legal fraternity. And of course, we should adhere to the ethical value in the legal field. So Godfrey Ramoroka will be giving us a presentation on how to become an ethical law professional. And we also have Shaida Mohammed, who is from UNISA Law Clinic, and who is going to give us a presentation on how to become a part of the law clinic from UNISA. And lastly, we will be having Paulina Mlilo, who is from the Black Lawyers Association, and she will also deliver a presentation on the Black Lawyers Associations of South Africa. Gloria, thank you so much, and I declare this event open, and everyone should enjoy the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mabua. Thank you for the warm welcome, and also just for giving our attendees a brief of what to expect in the program. I think everyone is excited now that they know what will be coming ahead. Without any waste of time, if Ms. Daphne Rangaka is here, she can just get ready. So Ms. Daphne is from National Prosecuting Authority, so she will be taking us through careers as in prosecution or as a prosecutor, and maybe just also sharing also her journey with you attendees, so that you can know if you are following the same path, where to go and what to do. Ms. Daphne, if you are here, please unmute, ma'am, and continue.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting the NPA to present to you today. I am Penny Pillay. I'm not Daphne Rangaka, but I will be presenting on behalf of Daphne Rangaka today. I am a senior state advocate at the National Prosecuting Authority, and Advocate Rangaka is my direct supervisor, so I will be standing in for her today. I do have a presentation, however, I'm not allowed to share it. I've been blocked from sharing the presentation, so I will just speak without the presentation. Okay, so I guess everyone is excited to hear about the National Prosecuting Authority and what we do. I'll give you a brief introduction about the organization. I will then tell you about our aspirant prosecutor program, which is one of the avenues through which one can enter the National Prosecuting Authority. And then I will...
Ms. Pillay?
Yes.
Sorry, just before you continue, I just want to double check. Are you not able to share the presentation because you don't have sharing rights on this event, or you're not allowed out of the event? So that
Right.
I can ask my colleagues if you're not able to share, so that they can give you permission to share.
I had been blocked from sharing by your organizers, but I see that they've allowed me to share now.
All right, thank you so much. If you're able
Can
to
you
share,
just
please
confirm
do.
that you can see the presentation?
On my side, I cannot see it yet. Let me just check with my colleagues if they're able to. Can someone, colleagues, can you just confirm if you can see Ms. Pillay's presentation? Because from my side, I still cannot see anything.
I see some participants are saying that they can't see.
All right, ma'am. If they can see, then you can continue. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, so as I was saying, I will just give you a brief overview of the National Prosecuting Authority, then speak to you about the Aspirant Prosecutor Program, and lastly, tell you about the career paths that can be achieved within the National Prosecuting Authority. So firstly, the National Prosecuting Authority is an independent prosecuting authority. We do reside within the umbrella of the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. However, we are an independent prosecuting authority. We are separate from the Department of Justice and the judiciary. We report directly to our National Director of Public Prosecutions, which is Shamila Batoy, as you can see. And our mandate comes through Section 179 of the Constitution and further through the National Prosecuting Authority Act. Within the National Prosecuting Authority, it is an organization within government, and our core mandate is prosecution services. So our Deputy National Director of Public Prosecutions at present is Advocate Rodney de Kock, and he is responsible for the management of the prosecution services within the National Prosecuting Authority. Okay, a brief overview. The criminal justice system comprises of various role players. However, the most dominant within those role players are the South African Police Services, the National Prosecuting Authority, and the judiciary. The South African Police Services is responsible for the investigation of crimes, and they, in doing so, they gather the evidence that we require, they secure the attendance of witnesses, and they obviously secure the attendance of the accused. The prosecuting services, we decide on whether or not there is sufficient evidence to proceed to prosecute a matter. We assist and guide the South African Police Services in their mandate of gathering information and investigating criminal offenses. We also have the mandate to determine the relevant charges and to prefer those charges against the accused. We present the evidence in court. The judiciary, obviously, is that those are the judges and the magistrates. They are responsible for receiving the evidence presented, interpreting the law, and determining the just outcome of disputes. Okay, so this brings us to the Aspirant Prosecutor Program. The Aspirant Prosecutor Program is a recruitment program within the NPA. We focus this recruitment on youth.
Make it town real.
Anyone is entitled to apply. However, preference is given to youth, as this is a youth empowerment program. This program is aimed at ensuring that all prosecutors employed within the NPA will be sufficiently equipped to carry out our mandate effectively and efficiently. And therefore, we enroll aspirant prosecutors into the program for a period of 1 year, where we train specifically LLB graduates to be able to use their academic knowledge in a practical environment in court. So the recruitment process of aspirant prosecutors, firstly, there will be a recruitment. I'm so sorry about this. I apologize. I'm very sorry about that. Firstly, there will be a recruitment advert, which will be advertised on or published on the NPA website. That is the National Prosecuting Authority website, as well as the DPSA website. DPSA is the Department of Public Services. Both platforms carry the advert. It is anticipated that the advert will be published within the next few weeks for the next intake of aspirant prosecutors. We also host a webinar. The link to the webinar and the date of the webinar is further published on our website. On the NPA website, under the tab Careers, you will find a further drop-down which takes you to Aspirant Prosecutor Program, and there you will get the relevant links to this webinar. That webinar basically describes how to complete your application forms and how to submit it and what are the minimum requirements. Applicants are required to submit an application using the Z83 form, which is also available on DPSA and NPA websites. The minimum or the basic requirements for the aspirant prosecutor program is a complete LLB degree. Final year students may also apply, provided that they will have completed their degree by the date of commencement of the program. The date of commencement for the next program is anticipated to be the 1st of April 2025. So if your degree will be completed before that date, we will accept your application. Once your application is submitted to the relevant training center, there are a number of training centers available depending on where you wish to train within the country. You can, however, only apply to one training center. If you apply to multiple training centers, we will not give you the option of selecting a training center. We will not select a training center for you. We will simply disqualify your application. Once we have screened the advert compliant applications, we will then invite you to sit for our entrance examination. The entrance examination for all training centers are written simultaneously at different venues. Therefore, if you've applied to more than one training center, you will not be able to fulfill the requirement of writing the exam at your training center. Thus, it is very important that you choose only one training center. The candidates who complete the entrance examination and successfully achieve the set pass marks will then be invited to attend an oral in-person interview. At that interview, when you are invited to that interview, it is only at that stage that we will require certified copies of your qualifications, that is your degree certificate, your matric certificate, your identity documents, and for those candidates who do not yet have their degree certificates, you will be required to bring a certified copy of your academic record. So please do not submit all of your documents with your application form. Your application is only the Z83 form and your CV. After you complete the interviews, people will then be selected from those interviews to join the aspirant prosecutor program. Okay, so who may apply? I've already touched on this. Everyone with an LLB degree that is completed or will be completed before the commencement of the training program. If you have obtained your degree from a foreign institution, from a university outside of South Africa, you will be required to have your qualifications verified by SAQA. SAQA is the South African Qualifications Association, and it is your responsibility to ensure that you have had your qualifications verified. You will have to present at your oral interview the certification from SAQA. You must be a first-time participant in the program. If you have previously participated in the aspirant prosecutor and resigned during the year of the program, or you didn't accept your appointment, or for whatever reason you did not complete the program, you cannot apply it for a second time. You can, however, obtain permission from your supervisor to participate in the aspirant prosecutor program. You must, however, still go through the recruitment process. You must still submit an application. You must still sit for the exams, and you must still attend the oral interview. But you can continue to hold your post if you are employed within a government department, provided that you have been given permission. If you do not get permission, then you will have to resign from your current post to participate in the aspirant prosecutor program. You must be available to enroll or enter into the program on the date of commencement. We will not entertain any requests for delay of appointment or requests to defer your appointment to any other date. It is a training program. Everyone has to attend certain classes, certain lectures, certain programs, and if you are not present on the date at which the program commences, then you present challenges for everyone else in the program. However, if you are pregnant and you are still allowed to apply, we will not prejudice you due to pregnancy. We will try to accommodate your maternity leave, and we will work around your individual needs for that purpose. How to apply? I've already explained how to apply. Once the advert is published, submit your Z83 form and your CV to the center where you want to train. Each center has a different email address to which you must forward your application form. Please verify that the email address that you send your CV to is the correct email address for that specific center. If you want to apply to Joburg and you send your CV or your application form to Pretoria, you will be disqualified. Joburg has a different recruitment number, and once Pretoria receives that particular application form, the application will be defective, and so you will be disqualified. Please read the advert carefully. Complete your Z83 form completely. The Z83 form specifically says that all fields must be completed. So please complete all fields in the Z83 form. Even if you are going to attach a CV, your CV is going to be a duplication to some extent of the Z83 form. It does not matter. Please complete the Z83 form completely. Certain fields of the Z83 form may not be relevant to you, like do you have a disability? Answer is no. The next question says, state the nature of your disability. Please say not applicable. It says, do you have a criminal record? No. Next field says details of the criminal record. You say not applicable. Please make sure to select a language of communication. Even though the Z83 form is in English, if you choose to be correspondence in English, please say English. Please complete your contact details fully and accurately. Those are the details we're going to use to communicate with you. All right, I've also explained the selection process. We basically screen your applications, you write the examination, and if you pass the examination, you will be invited to the oral interviews. The examination is a 3-hour examination. It comprises of multiple choice questions. On the website, under that careers tab in the aspirant prosecutor program tab or drop down, you will find the study guide. The entire examination is set on the basis of that study guide that is on the website. Please do not buy study guides. There are no study guides except the one on our website that is relevant to this particular program. It is free. Do not pay for it from anyone. Download it and use only that study guide. Okay, once you enter the aspirant program, you are subjected to 12 months of training. The first 6 to 8 weeks lectures, where we specifically focus on criminal law, criminal procedure, the law of evidence, and the interpretation of statutes. You would have done this at university already. However, this is a practical implementation of the theory that you have already acquired. We then go through a process of mock trials where we assist you to develop litigation skills in a controlled environment. You then have supervised practical court training. You will do actual cases in the district courts throughout the country with the guidance and supervision of your personal mentor and trainer. Once it has been established that you are competent and confident enough to perform on your own, you will then perform court work independently. You still have the support of a mentor and trainer. Okay, ultimately, these are the skills that we hope to develop in you. These are the skills that will be assessed in your final assessment. You will be subjected to a final assessment where we test legal knowledge, litigation skills, communication skills, administrative abilities, and interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills focused specifically on the values of the National Prosecuting Authority together with the ethics required of a legal professional. Whilst our main mandate is litigation, we do believe that your personality skills are also very, very important and relevant. So you must demonstrate the professionalism and ethical values that is required of a member of the National Prosecuting Authority and a member of the legal fraternity. If you have superb litigation skills, but you don't have, if you have not demonstrated sufficient interpersonal skills, the likelihood that you will be appointed is very, very slim. The assessment after the 12 months, during the 12 months, you will be assessed on a continuous assessment basis. During those 12 months, we will assess your strengths and weaknesses. You will be given information. You will be allowed to view the reports that are prepared on a monthly basis for your continuous assessment, giving you the opportunity to develop and formulate any skills that have been deemed lacking. Then, and your final assessment, however, is confidential. You will be assessed on the skills that I have already explained, and after assessment of those skills, if it is found that you have sufficient competencies in those skills, you will be offered employment within the NPA. If we have entry-level positions, what we call LP3 posts, if they are available at the cluster or at the region where you trained, it will be offered to you. However, if there are no posts available at that specific region, you might be offered positions at any region within the country. It is then up to you whether or not you accept those positions in the different areas. And if you do not accept them, then unfortunately, we will not be able to accommodate you further within the NPA. Okay, the starting salary for a prosecutor, you can see there is 201,000 to 233,000. This is excluding benefits. This is without your medical aid and pension fund and so forth. This is your standard remuneration. Okay, from the aspirant prosecutor program, you will then enter into the NPA as a district court prosecutor. From there are various avenues that you can progress through. From the district court, you move into the regional court space where you can become a regional court prosecutor or a control prosecutor. Then the yellow blocks are the same levels within the different spaces of the NPA. The regional court prosecutor is the general, what we call the general prosecuting unit. We then have specialized prosecuting units, which I'll discuss later. But the entry into those specialized prosecuting units are state advocates. Those are junior state advocates. And from there, you move on to the green blocks, where you can either become a senior public prosecutor, which is in the general space, or a senior state advocate in one of the specializing units. From there, you can move on to the blue spaces. The blue spaces are senior management. In the general prosecuting unit at the lower courts, you have the chief public prosecutor, who is responsible for the prosecution of or the management of prosecution services within the lower courts. Then at the Director of Public Prosecution's office, you have deputy directors of public prosecution, also within the general prosecutions, and they are responsible for prosecutions or the management of prosecution services in the high court space. Then the regional heads of the specializing units, those, as it says, they are in charge of the specialized units on the same level as the deputy directors of public prosecutions. They manage the high court and the regional court, but with reference to their specialized units. And then up to that point, your LLB degree is sufficient. To progress further, you'll need a master's degree. And with a master's degree, you can progress to a deputy director of public prosecutions within one of the regions. Each province has a deputy director of public prosecutions responsible for the prosecution services within that entire region or that province. However, Gauteng province has two regions. We have the North Gauteng Regional Division and the South Gauteng Regional Division. That's why there's 10 directors of public prosecutions. 5 special directors of public prosecutions. Those are the special directors for the specialized units responsible for the management of the prosecution with regard to their specialized unit. Then our Deputy National Director of Public Prosecutions. Above that is, as I introduced, Advocate Rodney de Kock, holds that position currently, is the Deputy National Director of Public Prosecutions. And then above that is obviously the National Director of Public Prosecutions. The specializing units, I think I'm running out of time, so I'm going to go really quick now. The specializing units, there are 5 specializing units. Sexual offenses and community affairs, also referred to as SOCA. They are responsible for prosecution services with regard to all child and family-related offenses, sexual offenses, domestic violence, children in conflict with the law, maintenance, and trafficking in persons, basically all community prosecutions. The organized crime component, as the name suggests, they are responsible for crime that is committed within an organized environment. So racketeering, and any offense, any of the predicate offenses dealing with racketeering. So racketeering is an offense where a number of other offenses are committed in an organized, structured environment, basically like a business of crime. They deal with all crimes that are in this organized, structured environment. Then we have the SCCU, serious and commercial crimes. Serious and complex commercial crimes. Again, as its name suggests, they deal with all commercial crimes, fraud, corruption, money laundering, terror financing, and so forth, that is commercial crimes related. Priority Crimes Litigation Unit is a specialized unit within the NPA that deals with priority crimes. The priority crimes change from time to time. At present, we are dealing with, or the Priority Crimes Litigation Unit is focused on money laundering and terror financing, and cyber crimes. Their mandate extends over the various other specialized units, or they work together with the other specialized units on whatever is the priority crime of that, or in a specific period. Since the Zondo Commission is the topic at the moment, so Priority Crimes Litigation Unit is focused on assisting the ID with that specific mandate at current. Okay, specialized tax component, they basically work very closely with SARS, and they do all the contraventions of the tax legislations. So anything that flows from contravention of the VAT Act or the SARS Act, and they also required to work with SCCU because this is also a commercial crime. The Independent Directorate, you might have heard a lot about them recently. They are a newly appointed or newly formulated unit within the National Prosecuting Authority. They investigate and prosecute serious commercial crimes such as corruption, money laundering, fraud, forgery, uttering, and theft. Their mandate extends beyond just prosecuting. They have a mandate to actually investigate these crimes. So they comprise of investigators and prosecutors. Okay, so that brings us to the end. You may enter the National Prosecuting Authority through the aspirant program. However, you can apply to the other units. The requirements are different for application through the various units. You'll need specialized skill, demonstrated specialized skill in those specific fields to comply with the minimum requirements for appointment in the specialized units. And if you have those demonstrated skills and minimum requirements, it is not necessary to go through the aspirant prosecutor program. The aspirant prosecutor program, as I explained, is a youth empowerment program, entry-level prosecutors, but there are other positions available with different requirements. Thank you so much for your attention. If you have any questions, I'll take them now.
Thank you so much, Ms. Pillay. I see that there's some questions on the chat and some requests on the chat. If your colleagues are here, I would really appreciate it if they can also just assist in answering some of the questions, and maybe also help in also answering some of the question. Because of time, I'm not going to be able to take a lot of questions. I can take one hand for now, but if there's more questions, please write on the chat. Our team of professionals that are here will respond to each and every question. I will only take one hand. Okay, going once. Twice. Okay, colleagues, there's no hands. The questions are on the chat. And I'm going to kindly request also to our upcoming speakers to please try by all means to keep to time so that we can be able to open for questions and be able to interact with our attendees. I see already on the chat there's so many response. We're getting response from students. Students are really interested in these types of workshops, and we wish we had more time so that we can be able to unpack everything, but unfortunately there's no time. So let's just try and maybe stick to the time allocated for each presentation. So colleagues, without any waste of time, because I see there are no hands, I'm going to call on our next speaker, who is a UNISA alumni. He's going to just give us some, words of encouragement and just to motivate our students who are already in the profession. And his name is Bongani Ramutsepe. Bongani, if you are here, you can take the stage, sir. Mr. Ramutsepe, are you here? I was informed Mr. Bongani is here. I'm not sure what is happening if he's not able to connect. Colleagues, is Mr. Ramutsepe here?
Gloria, if I may come in.
Yes.
Please take Mr. Sam. I know that Mr. Ramutsepe is having difficulties. He will only join us later.
Oh, okay. Noted, Sharon. Maybe while Mr. Sam is preparing himself, I can take one question which we saw on the chat. Maybe if we can just take just one question from the chat. Let me just quickly, I see there was a question here about, apologies, colleagues. The messages are just coming in and just blocking my screen. There was a question about convincing. We had a workshop yesterday where we had someone who unpacked the convincing. However, we do have somebody who's also going to speak about that later in the program. So those that are asking about convincing, just be patient. We have someone who is going to address that. Okay. Colleagues, I'm struggling to see my screen because of just messages just popping, and they are covering my screen, so I'm not able to see the question. However, I'm told that Mr. Sam Shadung is here. So Mr. Sam Shadung, as we introduce you, please get ready. So Mr. Sam Shadung is a senior attorney at Singwapa Incorporate. He practices as a conveyancer. So maybe he will also address some of the questions on conveyancing. He holds a B, Proc, and LLB degree from the University of Limpopo and the University of Pretoria, respectively, and is an admitted attorney, notary, and admitted conveyancer. Mr. Sam is a member of the Legal Practice Council's Disciplinary Committee. He is a chair, where he chairs, disciplinary hearings emanating from complaints lodged by members of the public against a legal practitioner. Mr. Sam is also a member of the Conveyancers of the Law Society of South Africa, He sets the examination papers for the conveyancing competency examination written by legal practitioners intending to be admitted as conveyancers. Mr. Sam is also a member of the Legal Practitioners Council Competency Examination Board, where he marks papers 1 to 4 of the Legal Practitioners Competency Examination, as well as notary and conveyancing. So, Mr. Sam, if you are ready, the floor is yours, Sam.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I hope I am audible.
Yes, you are. You can go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Yes. In short, in law, conveyancing is the transfer of legal title of real property, mainly dealing with houses from one person to another, or the granting of an encumbrance such as a mortgage bond, or it could be a lien. The sale of immovable property is initiated by a sale agreement, normally what people tend to call offer to purchase or a deed of sale. Ownership of a property, unlike when one buys grocery, is not obtained on signature of the sale agreement or that offer to purchase. Ownership of the property is only obtained on registration of the property into the name of the transferee at the deeds office. So there must be registration of that title. Each time a property is sold, a new deed of transfer, that is a title deed, must be drawn up and registered at the deeds office. This usually is to ensure the security and certainty of an owner's title to his property. And dealing with admission of a conveyancer, a conveyancer is a specialist in property affairs. A conveyancer must be admitted as such by the High Court. Section 24, read with Rule 17 of the Legal Practice Act, regulates the process of admission thereof. One must be admitted as an attorney first before could be enrolled as a conveyancer. And to be enrolled as a conveyancer, one must first pass the competency examinations that the colleague was actually referring to, that normally should be complied with in terms of Rule 20, Sub-Rule 9 of the Legal Practice Act. Job opportunities in the conveyancing field. Mainly one could be an admitted conveyancer. You deal with transfers of immovable properties, registration of mortgage bonds, cancellation of mortgage bonds. That is usually done at law firms. In an ordinary conveyancing transaction, one deals with mainly 3 sets of conveyancers. You'll find there's a transferring attorneys. Those will be the one transferring the property from the seller to the buyer. If the property is encumbered, there's a mortgage bond over the property. You will then deal with a second set of conveyancer who will be primarily dealing with the cancellation of that particular bond. They are instructed mainly by the banks. And the third set of the conveyancer will be the bond registering attorney if the property is purchased through a mortgage bond. In some instances, one law firm may handle all 3 transactions. Sometimes, it's a cash sale, there's no need to deal with other sets of conveyancers. So one set of attorney, or for a conveyancer, will then handle the entire transaction. Mainly as a conveyancer, it's a little bit different from a normal attorney, because you are dealing with 2 parties, the seller and the purchaser. So usually should be fair to both parties, and therefore, ethics require that you should be impartial to both parties. The duty imposed on the conveyancer, for example, those who follow current affairs, you would have noted. Advocate, they were used to represent the accused, Those would be his clients. So with regard to convincing, you representing both sides of clients. The convincing field may be lucrative, but of course one has to put, effort, and it goes with, the uptake of the economy. So if the interest increases, usually the market goes down. That affect your market. But if interest goes down, we normally see uptake in the economy, and the market usually becomes lucrative as well. And over and above transferring properties, as I've said, you deal with registration, cancellation of mortgage bonds. You can also deal with opening of townships, where a new township is developed. You can deal with opening of sectional schemes where the land is earmarked for settlement. You can also deal with land use. Normally that comes from, the local government, special development framework. An admitted conveyancer can also work as a legal advisor in the corporate sector, usually when you find listed properties or other corporate entities that own property portfolios. You will usually use the services of a conveyancer to guide, advise, and help them in acquisition of their property portfolio. You would also find a conveyancer working as a legal advisor, especially in the public sector. You will find some mainly in the local government who assist the different municipalities with regard to enforcement of contraventions of bylaws. You may find a conveyancer advising government on special planning, restitution of land rights, upgrading and extension of security of tenant rights. One could also assist government with, remodeling of affordable housing and housing in general. Mainly those are the duties of a conveyancer. And conveyancing is usually tied with notary. I'll just briefly deal with, what a notary is usually is an admitted attorney who is authorized to witness signatures drawn up or draw up contracts and certify the validity of documents. You may find that some of the documents need to be or should be used outside the country. They have to be notarized. Those will be the duties of a notary, who will then certify those documents to be used abroad. So these documents, we normally call them notarial deeds. There's also antenuptial contracts.
Sorry, Mr. Shadum.
Yes.
Sorry. The attendees are requesting if you can share a presentation, sir. I don't know if you have a presentation you'd like to share.
I didn't prepare a proper, presentation. I just made bullet points. I'm talking from experience on most of the issues, but I can drop something and then email it.
We'll appreciate
if that will suffice.
Yes, we'll appreciate that. So to all the attendees asking for presentation, you've had it. We will share the presentation to everyone who has registered for the workshop. Thank you so much. You can continue, sir.
And to which email should I send it to? Normally to Homoto or?
Yes, sir, you can send it to Homoto.
Will do so, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. As I was dealing with notary, I was saying that certain documents are required by law to be notarially executed. These documents are known as notarial deeds. Your notarial contracts, your antenuptial and postnuptial contracts, deeds of servitude, your usufruct, your notarial leases, some trust deeds. There are also notarial bonds, which are entered into between corporate. Mostly you find some corporate entities for securitization purposes. They normally enter into notarial bonds, which normally encumber the movable properties, unlike a mortgage bond, which encumbers the immovable property. Notary is tied with conveyancing in that you find properties that are attached, mainly, when you deal with sectional titles, the exclusive use areas, flats, townhouses, you find that a unit could be tied with a garden or a parking bay. So when one deals with a transfer, conveyancing of that property, a notary will also assist in executing a notarial deed which will be linked to that particular garden or a parking bay or a garage. Opportunities with emphasis. The opportunity for a notary normally is to assist the conveyancing field, and they can also assist in executing documents, notarial documents, mainly, as I've said, the ones that are going to be used overseas. And that will bring an end to my presentation. And if there are any questions, I can take them, or I will assist in responding on Teams. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shadu. I am going to take a few hands. If there are any questions, I will take a few hands, but I see that some questions are already on the chat, posted on the chat, requesting that you can also please help us in answering those.
I will do so.
Are there any hands? Okay, it looks like we do not have hands, meaning that we will move on to our next speaker, who is going to share with us on litigation, court work, and job shadowing. Her name is Advocate.
Gloria?
Yes?
Sorry, we do have hands.
All right, I do apologize for that. I did not see any hand from my side. Sharon, can you just assist me if you see any hands and alert me from your side?
It's Helen.
Okay, Helen, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so I wanted to ask about buying property in a tribunal session. So where there's like tribunal courts and customary law applies to that land. Will I need a conveyancer? What is the process in terms of that?
Properties that fall normally under what we call traditional areas, where the lands have not been proclaimed, you won't be able to need, or you don't need to use the services of a conveyancer, because there is no title deed that is going to be registered. Those are normally held by trust, the Ngonyama land trust. Usually those you don't need a conveyancer. It's an agreement because you don't per se own the property. It's more of a lease, kind of. You lease from the traditional authorities and the tribunals thereof. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, it does. Thank you. So I technically can buy the land, but I will never own the land.
In a way, it's more of a lease, honestly, because it's a permission to occupy. You pay a certain amount. From experience, you can do whatever you want to do with the property. You can build your house, you own it. That can be, inherited. Although technically it's a lease, it's not really, because you don't have title over that property. The title is controlled mainly by the traditional authority or, the tribunal that will be regulating or, yeah.
Okay, so if there arises some sort of like dispute over who owns the land or who is entitled to inherit, whatever, can I take it further if I do not per se maybe say I agree with the tribunal, the decision or whatever?
Look, there's still a bit of a gray area in that, as I've said, the land in most of the time, those who find in rural areas, the land is owned by the tribal authority. So the subjects, which will be, the individuals, will then lease the property. So if you're referring to a dispute, what kind of a dispute would you, if you can just probably give an example so that I can try and guide.
Okay, so say maybe it was owned by two people and then they die and then they have children. So what law would be applicable in terms of who inherits that land? Is it the children? Is it one child? Is it male primogeniture? Or what happens?
That will be regulated. If there's a will, it will go in terms, but otherwise it's interstate, and the interstate law will follow. And that will apply. The beneficiaries of the deceased will be entitled to their respective shares of that particular property.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Advocate. Sharon, are there any hands still? I'll only take one more hand.
Yes, we do have a hand from Vumile.
Okay, Lungile, please unmute your mic. Colleagues, if there's any other questions, please write them on the chat. Our professionals will respond on the chat. Lungile, you can go ahead.
Sorry, Vumile.
Oh, sorry, Vumile. Vumile, you can go ahead. Apologies there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful presentation, Mr. Shadung. My question is very quick. Do I have to be an admitted attorney first before I can write the notary exams and the conveyancing exams? Thank you.
Thank you. Ordinarily, yes, but you can also do them simultaneously. Although, when you write examinations, you normally start with, for you to be admitted, yes, you have to be an admitted attorney. But it is also possible that when you do your articles, you can write all the board examinations and then get admitted. You'll be given different dates usually. In terms of experience, I was made to understand that the LPC doesn't allow admission as attorney, conveyancer, notary to happen on the same day. But you have to be an admitted attorney first to be admitted as a conveyancer.
Thank you.
Not sure if that answers you.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shadung. Without any waste of time, as I have indicated earlier, that we have someone who's going to take us through litigation, court work, and job shadowing. Her name is Advocate Elizabeth Nievold from Legal Aid. So just a little bio on Advocate Nievold. She is an admitted advocate. She was admitted as an advocate in March 1994 and joined the Pretoria Bar in December 1994. She was a member of Pretoria Bar for 8 years, joined Legal Aid South Africa in 2004. First, she joined as a legal practitioner and then from 2005 as a manager. Currently, she is the head of office at the Tembisa Local Office of Legal Aid South Africa. She specializes in children's rights and specifically the representation of minor children in the High Court and the Children's Court. She's also a lead trainer on the Children's Act. She's also involved in the training of candidate legal practitioners within Legal Aid South Africa. Advocate Nievold, if you are ready, the floor is yours, ma'am. Advocate, you can unmute your mic, ma'am. Okay, can my colleagues just assist in making sure that Advocate is unmuted?
Thank you very much. For a moment, I thought you didn't want me to speak. That's why you didn't unmute me. So
Apologies for that.
no worries. I'm not taking it personally, so that's okay. Good morning,
Okay,
everyone. I hope you are warm and cozy wherever you are, with a blanket and a heater and something warm to wear. I'm just going to talk to you about court work and litigation, and then how I think from your perspective, how you can get a better idea of where you want to go. Sam was talking about conveyancing, and I think a lot of times when people go and study law, they do it because the answers I get a lot is because I want to help people. You know, that's usually the answer you get. There is the people that think that they're going to make lots of money when they want to, when they want to go and study law. But there's usually this idea of helping people. But helping people is, a lot of times you want to see, you see people on TV, and that's again sometimes what motivates students to study law, is they see these legal programs on TV or in a movie. But unfortunately, a lot of times it's very American. And if you've ever been to a South African court, you'll see that our courts are nothing like the American courts. The drama and the people walking up and down and the juries, and that's not us. Much more formal, less exciting than what you see in the movies. And then the realization and the question that from my side, you should ask yourself is, do you want to do litigation? Do you want to do court work? That is not for everyone, and that's okay. Sam was talking about being conveyancer, and there's a lot of people that are admitted attorneys or advocates, but they do more commercial work. They do the drafting of contracts, the conveyancing, so those kind of more commercial kind of transactions. They are mediators, they are arbitrators, they give legal advice, and those things are much more, you sit in your office, you consult with clients, you draft papers. It's a kind of legal work. Litigation is not that. Litigation is standing up in a court, being able to address a presiding officer, being able to deal with opponents that's nasty, that's rude, being able to deal with a presiding officer that's nasty, that's rude. They got up at the wrong side of the bed, and you, unfortunately, the first person they see, that you need to be able to deal with that. It's not personal. You are there in their court, you are there representing your client, and ultimately you must do that without being afraid of the consequences, about having favor with the presiding officer. It is there, you are doing your duty, you are presenting your client, and that's not everybody's personality. The lady were talking about the people that can join the prosecuting authority, so the NPA. Again, she said the personality skills, the standing in a court, a prosecutor stands in a court every day and prosecutes people for shoplifting, for theft, for assault, for robbery, for murder, and that is not for everyone. The same as on the other side of you, a defense lawyer. You're going to stand in a court, you are going to try to defend your client's rights, be it for murder, be it for rape, be it for assault, child abuse, child molestation, shoplifting for a block of cheese or a packet of chips. And you need to ask yourself, is that something you can do? Are you able and capable and willing, and do you want to listen to people's stories every day? Because they not only bring to you a legal problem, a lot of them brings with them a personal problem. So yes, they bring you legal facts and they want your advice, but with that comes their own personal frustrations up to that point, their own personal issues. And do you want to do that? Do you want to sit down with a client and deal with that? That is a question you need to ask yourself. In the commercial environment, like a conveyancing or drafting of contracts, a client come to you not necessarily with a lot of personal issues. I bought a house. Yeah, it's a happy thing. I bought a house. I'm happy. I want the house in my name. I want to move on. But if they come to you with, you know what, I was caught stealing a block of cheese, there's going to be a sad story behind that. Is that what you want to do? Do you want to deal in that kind of human nature and litigation? And litigation also, the other skill that you must have is the ability to organize yourself. You need to know how to run a diary, because litigation, especially a civil litigation. So if I talk about civil litigation, let's stick to things that I think you all dealt with, is divorces. A divorce, there's what we call pleadings. There's time limits to that. So there's a 10-day, you have 10 days to do this step. You have 20 days to do this step. You have 30 days to do this. Then you must do this. You must be able to get a court file in order. You must index and paginate a file. And that is time limits. So again, if you want to do litigation, the other question yourself must be a bit honest with yourself and say, well, is that part of my DNA? Can I keep to time periods? Remember, not as hopefully you're going to be a very successful litigation lawyer, attorney, and you're going to have like 150 files, 200 files. Will you be able to work on all 200 files? Will you be able to make sure that on every of those 200 files, you meet the time limit? Remember, ultimately, the client is paying you 500, 600, 1,000 rands an hour for you to make sure that their case goes to court. And if you can't follow a time limit, if you can't make sure that the case gets to court, your client is going to suffer damages. Then then there's other implications, reputation. If you want to open your own little private practice, what a word of mouth, that is so important. That is because a friend is going to tell a friend that, wow, I got this very, Sharon was this excellent lawyer and she helped me and we got this done. And so that word of mouth. But if you drag Sharon, and sorry for picking on Sharon, but if Sharon dragged her feet and the case didn't go to court for 2 years, and somebody asked Sharon the name of your lawyer, then you can say, oh no, don't, this is my lawyer, but don't go there. So you need to be, those are the questions you need to ask yourself. Are you organized enough? Are you like pedantic enough? There's a trust account if you're an attorney. Does money, is that the responsibilities that you want? So the question I'm sure you're asking is, but how do I know that? Because here I am, a 4-year, 4th year, 3rd year, 2nd year LLB student. And how would I know if anything of this is applicable to me? So the easiest I suggest is you job shadow somebody. You go to a private firm, you can go to a legal aid office, and you say, here I am, I'm a law student. I'm not sure if I want to become a litigation lawyer, be it civil or criminal, but I need to make it, I don't have to make a decision, but I want to decide more or less in what direction am I going. Can I please job shadow somebody for a week or a month, depending on that specific organization, so that you can, and then really immerse yourself in that process. Sit in consultations, go to court. And if you go to court, not only just go and sit at the back of the gallery, but try to then shadow somebody, say, okay, give me the file. Let me see what, if that person then stands up in court and makes submissions and present a case to court, that you understand where it comes from, because that will also teach you and tells you, well, is this something I want to do? Is this something I can do? Being a litigation lawyer is very much a language thing also. So you need to be able to express yourself in such a way that you can convey your client's case to a presiding officer. So that's the only way you're going to be able to really say, okay, no, I'm going to be that super duper civil litigation or criminal litigation lawyer, and I'm going to stand in court every day, and I'm still going to run my 200 files, going to make money, and this is who I am. So really try to put yourself out there, and then go to court. And if you can't find that law firm or that person that you can shadow, courts, find a court, Google, where's the magistrate court, where's the high court. Now that COVID is past, high courts are back in having courts physically. Go there one day and say, well, okay, where's the court, where's the motion court, where's the trial court? Go and sit there and at least just hear how things are done, where it's presented, and see the formal structure of our courts. You stand there, you have your little robe on, and it's not like, like I say, you see in the movies and the TV, there's an up and down, and you walk to the witness. No, it's a very formal, you stand there, the witness is there, the presiding officer is there, and it's a much more formal way of dealing with the litigation than what you might think. So please, put yourself out there. I know sometimes it's scary and you might come across some rude people that just chases you away, but just persevere and go and find somebody that you can shadow, that you can ask all these questions and get answers. Okay, I see there was a question here. That I quickly saw out of the corner of my eye. Oh, so where's the offices for the Tembisa Legal Aid? So I will reply to you and I will just tell you, but it's in the Tembisa Mega Mart in Olifantsfontein Road in Tembisa, but I'll also write it for you. Okay, any other questions? I see there's a hand up. Let me see. The hand, I cannot see. The hand is from Maria Mohale. Don't know if she can maybe not unmute herself.
Shares, can you assist with unmuting Maria, please?
Okay, Maria, I see you unmuted now.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
My apologies. Hi,
No,
everyone.
that's fine.
My question was on the conveyancing, but I'll post it on the group so that I didn't lower my hand.
No, that's fine. No worries. And then I have another hand of Nomza's app.
Morning. My question is just to find out, considering POPI Act, as an LLB student, are we allowed to go to court?
Yeah, the POPI, remember, courts are public places. So everybody in any way hears everything that is said in a court. So that is not the protection of the personal information, is more about the file content maybe. So you won't be able to make a copy of the file content because it contains personal information. But a court is a public place. You can go in and you can sit and listen. Some like a children's court, you won't be able to do that because that is an in-camera court that you can't sit in and listen to the proceedings. But otherwise, yeah, the POPI legislation won't stop you from that.
Okay, just to follow up, so I can just go anytime. And
yeah, so court hours most of the time is between 9 and 4. That's the formal court hours. But you'll find that a lot of courts won't sit in the afternoon. So it would be safest to go. Make sure you're around 9, but before 1 o'clock, you'll struggle to find a court that sits in the afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Okay, then there's another hand of Shane. Shane Mulele.
Elizabeth, can anyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, since you're saying you working here Tembisa, I'm also based in Tembisa. So are you comfortable if one day I can get a chance to visit you so that I can ask you more and also you can guide me through this as I'm also interested to be in a litigation lawyer. So are you comfortable?
Yeah. I would suggest that you get my email address from Khomotso, and that you just arrange with me, because I might be in meetings, I might be in court, I might not be here. So I don't want you to come to a situation that I'm not here. So please just get my email address from Khomotso and just communicate with me so that we can arrange an appropriate date.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shane. I see there's a few questions coming in. I'll just deal with them in the chat room.
Thank you so much, Advocate. Thank you, and thank you for the presentation. I see that there's some questions, but then we can just answer them on the chat. If you have a question, please write it on the chat. Unfortunately, we cannot take more hands because of time. Without any waste of time, I'm going to call on Bongani Ramotsepe. I heard that he's sorted now. Bongani is a UNISA alumni, so he's just going to give us some words of encouragement and just to motivate us as students in this profession of law. Colleagues, can I request that the attendees mute their mics, please? Bongani, if you are ready, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning. Thank you for the opportunity given. My name is Bongani Ramotsepe. I'm from the east of Johannesburg. I attended my schooling in the east, and then I went to UNISA to complete my LLB degree. Words of encouragement that I would give to UNISA students. As a UNISA student, you know that you're studying through distance learning, and it's not easy. It's quite challenging having to teach yourself what is what, where do I begin, having to structure your studies, and which campuses can I visit? And because mostly students, we come from different environments and different regions. But what I could say as a UNISA student, get involved in UNISA activities. If you get SMSs, invites, or anything, get involved so that you become aware of the studying environment and the tutorials. And my journey while I was still a student with UNISA, my first year I started with MGI, where I studied BCom law. Because of finances, I had to switch, and UNISA accepted me in the LLB curriculum. And my first year was quite a struggle, I won't lie, because I had to teach myself the basics as to where do I begin, because I was spoiled in a way of having how to being taught by a lecturer, and now I'm by myself. I don't know what is what fits in, but eventually taking it one day at a time. And for first years, this is my advice to you: start a chapter each and every day so that you grasp. And moving forward, having to select module as a UNISA student, you need to follow the UNISA curriculum, the structure, and having the prerequisites. And visit the library more often, you won't go wrong. And having your study environment to be a conducive place for you to study as well. And what I've noticed as a UNISA student as well is that most UNISA students, they're thinking it's easy. No, because now we're writing exams online. No, I'll just pass, I'll do this. But funny part is that you get to exams, you blank, you know nothing. But if you tackle your studies on a daily basis, Monday to Sundays, don't skip a day, even if it's 2 hours a day, it's still something. Work through your studies until you finish, because I won't lie, there is failing, there is passing, but it's up to you, the effort that you give to your studies. It plays a role, and it shows the commitment that you have with your studies. And what I wish I've known during my journey as a student with UNISA, I wish they taught us how to actually to do job shadowing, how to do VEC work more often, because this enables you to understand the environment. Because when you get into practice, it's completely different. the final year, to all the final year students, my advice again would be make sure that all your research reports are in good conditions, like you're getting good marks. I won't lie to you, because this, for example, if you're doing your RRLLB, you get a percentage of 70%. It's easier for you to be admitted in the master's curriculum. And with my journey, as I was still a student, like I've said, it wasn't easy. I was working and studying part-time, but I would give myself enough time to my books, and so that I can be able to finance my studies as well. After I've completed my LLB degree, because I completed 2022, yes, second intake, second semester. And around that second semester, I had nothing to do. And then I looked at the option as to saying, okay, what's next? I did not know where to begin, where to start. But some people are having other students that already completed that you need your law school. And then I started asking, what is law school actually? What does it do for me? And I inquired a lot about law school. So basically, law school is it's a school that enables you to, in order for you to be admitted as an attorney, you need your law school, of which it's practical legal training for 6 months. If you have law school, you do articles for 1 year. But if you do not have, you do articles for 2 years. So I went to the lead law school in Johannesburg under Mrs. Singh as the principal. And while I was still with law school, I was also working with statistics census as a field worker. You can imagine, from law school, day school, at 5, at 2 or 3, when the school knocks off, I'm going to the field to start capturing data. So yeah, it wasn't easy, so that I can be able to pay to finance my fees. So to all the final year students, if you know that you want to do law school, start saving now. Even if it's 5 rand, 2 rand, start saving now, because law school it's self-funding, you pay by yourself. And law schools also helps you to have a balance in terms of your board exams, because they teach you all the skills, more especially in terms of wills and estate and accounting, so that you get to board exams, you're not blank. They give you, they drill you, I won't lie, more especially the day school. And in terms of after law school, if you opt to do your articles for 2 years, it's also good, because most firms, they take, after completing your articles with admission, they mostly take candidates that did law school for 2 years, because your experience is quite broad compared to a 1-year articleship. And another thing that I'd also like to touch base on is job shadowing as a graduate, because I'm a graduate. I've been volunteering in a firm, a local firm, for a 3-month period. And it wasn't easy, because for 3 months I wasn't getting paid, but I have the skill, so that if I get interviewed in a different firm, I'm able to understand, okay, what are clients? What are good working ethics? How do we keep our clients? How do we open up files? How do we close files? So those skills I obtained. So it's also good for you after completing your degree. Don't sit home. Don't relax. Just go in a local firm, job shadow, volunteer, even if it's 2 or 3 times a week, as long as you're doing something. Your CV as well, as a graduate, you not need a long CV of 5 pages, at least 2-page CV that explains who you are, what do you have, your experience, just straight to the core. So that, because there's so many CVs that law firms do receive, but what I've learned as I was still in that law firm, they're just looking at where you're from, where you studied, and the skills, the experience, and if you've got law schools or not. And then you get to interviews, it's a different story, because now they're explaining you, what have you learned? You understand? And another thing that I'd also like to touch base is having to deal with time management. It's very, very essential as a student, because of your time. You need to focus by all means. Everything you do, you need to structure your time. Just to say, okay, today I'm a final year student. I'm doing these modules. From now on, going forward, I can at least work through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, having to learn more about the fields, because you get into a field, it's practical. And as a student as well, participate in street law activities, moot court activities, because if you get through regions, you ask around any SRCs, they will ask you about, have you participated in, do you know anything about our street law activities? Students, what is that? But as soon as you get yourself involved, you know that, okay, street law, while I was still doing street law with UNISA region, it helped me to boost my confidence. How to do public speaking, how to be informed, how to be involved as well, how to as well to separate the emotions, because people come with different situations asking you, hi, I'm being raped on, for example, I was being raped, what steps can I take? It's been 10 years. So, but you do not give them advice, you just inform them what to do. And then you can also refer them to professionals, because yet you're not admitted as a undergrad. And then with moot court, it's also going to help you in terms of trial and advocacy processes, because if you engage yourself in moot court activities, you're going to learn how the court structure works, which one is the first speaker, the court orderly, the prosecutor, how to address courts. So those things are going to boost you as well. You get to law school, those things are going to be taught as well, but now you're having a light coming from the street law perspective and moot court perspective. And with regards to another struggle that I faced as a student was with the fees. As a student, because most students, they would want to pursue their degree, but now they're being stranded. They don't have the fees or the finances to pay. But if you mostly often visit the region, like I'm saying, I was mostly in the campus almost on a daily basis, having to ask around from Bab to Bazana, how do we go about tackling my fees? Where can I get NASFAs, the bursaries? While I was studying, I used to study under a Krulini bursary. What they would need from you, your affidavit, your supporting affidavit, your background check, your motivational speaker, and your marks. So it's possible, it's doable. If you want to study, if you want to pursue your LLB degree, you'll make means, you will sacrifice. They say as an individual, you need to be a go-getter. So there's no excuse in order for you to obtain your degree. If I can do it, you can do it. I know situations are different, but it's the mindset that you have. It's the attitude that you have towards your studies, towards what you want. Because as an individual, you need to have short-term goals and long-term goals, because it's not easy. Other than staying at home and coming with excuses, it's not easy in any way. But if you ask around, surely help will come. And yeah, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Bongani. Yeah, it is true that focus, commitment, and hard work are the ingredients that you need to make it with your studies here at UNISA, or any institution for that matter. On life, you need to be committed. You need to work hard and be focused. So, colleagues, I am about to hand over to my colleague right now, Ms. Tesh. If you are here, maybe you can just switch on your video, let the colleagues see you. So I just want to say thank you so much for being with me since the beginning of the program. And I hope that we will continue to learn and, be informed as much as we can with this session. So I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Teshlin. She will introduce herself and introduce the next speaker. So from me, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the program going forward. Thank you. Tesh, are you here?
Oh, I did the most fundamental mistake. I am unmuted. Welcome to everybody, and thank you, Ms. Gloria, for taking us through this journey with our guests, our presenters, and most importantly, our students, because that's why we are here today. My name is Tashlin, as you've already heard. I am from the counseling department in Sunnyside. So welcome to the second half. And I do believe that we are going to have a great time together. I would like to introduce our next speaker without any delay, Mr. Godfrey Ramoroka, if you are here.
Yes, I am, Tash.
The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And thank you for having me and the Office of the Legal Services on board with you. It is an opportunity that we really cherish very much as an office. And we hope that UNISA will continue on this beautiful activity, and we wish to be even more part of it going forward, because having been on it since yesterday, I can say that the valuable information that has been passed on, it's absolutely priceless. So without wasting more time, the Office of the Legal Services Ombudsman just came into operation not long ago, last year to be precise, in June. That's when the official proclamation that we are now fully operational and that we can take complaints was actually promulgated. But before that, we've been busy with other administrative background work to put it in place, and it's still a work in progress. Now, it comes into play in terms of the Legal Practice Act. So the same act that regulates the legal practice councils also operates for us and establishes us in terms of Section 45 of that act. That's the one that establishes our office, and it's headed by a judge, a retired judge. Now, most of the work we have so far being seen as an oversight body, because that's what we are, an oversight body to the legal space, the legal professionals that are there, the attorneys and the advocates that operate within this legal system of ours. And I love how Elizabeth from the Legal Aid actually explained how the system is as compared to the American system or what people see in the movies. And it reminded me of when I was prosecuting at some point, and this young student came to testify and thought that we were in America. So kept on saying, I plead my right to silence, no comment, and all of that. And that was very unfortunate and showed how much of education we still need to do. Now, I've been asked to speak on ethics. You know, unfortunately, ethics is something that you can't speak of in 10 minutes or 20 minutes, because ethics goes through every fiber of the law that we are in. And it's also taught at school, at varsity. It is also taught at the legal practice educations that are offered by the LSSA, because it's very important. And as Elizabeth was saying, that ask yourself honestly, are you able to handle the workload? Are you able to deal with the different aspects that come with the legal practice or litigation? But as Advocate Serahole also indicated. There are various fields that are there in law. And as you ask yourself that question of what are your strong traits, what are you good at, look at that various aspects of the law that you can choose into what you can do. And in there, I'm sure you'll find a space that will not even encroach on your ethics. But importantly, as it's been said by one of the speakers in terms of conveyancing and notarial work, when you deal with properties of people, it also involves money, and that involves your ethics. So the question is, how ethical are you? Tesh, can somebody help me just move the presentation up a bit? Thank you. So everything you do in law is founded in your ethical behavior. And I had an opportunity to be in one activity wherein retired Judge Mwebe actually was a guest speaker. And he said that what he learned about ethics was from his parents before he even started school, and was taught to respect others and respect what they have or their properties or what belongs to them. And that's basically what ethics is all about. It's about you as a person, your character as a person. And what we teach at school or what is taught at school is not just that. It's just to build on the foundation of where you come from. And I'd like to believe that when I say where you come from, we all come from the same foundation, that as you respect others, you also expect to be respected. As you communicate with others with respect, with courtesy, you also expect the same to be done towards you. Tesh, let's move up again.
Certainly.
So, thank you. And ethics is just that. It's what will make you into the best legal practitioner you can be. Because, and I'm going to go back to Elizabeth from time to time, that as she said, can you keep track of all the 200 files that you might be having on your table? Can you be able to file your papers on time? Can you be able to brief counsel if you're briefing counsel properly on time? Can you be able to communicate with your clients? Keep them updated on what their case involves. Now, within our office as the Ombud, the legislature also put it there to say, as the office, one of the mandates is to promote the high standards of integrity in the legal profession. Now, integrity is about ethics. It's about you as an individual, as a legal practitioner, able to conduct yourself in a manner that is beyond reproach. And in legal practice, because you have got clients and you have got another party, that there are always two parties in any space. And therefore, you need to be able to update your files and keep updated your client on what you have done, on what you're going to do. And that's part of your consultation. And because you also earn fees from that consultation. So it's important that the aspect of communication, keeping your clients updated, communicating with the other parties on time. Because once you don't communicate on time and you become lax with your communication, you'll find yourself sitting with notices of bar on any matters you're dealing with, and judgments being taken when clients actually gave you instructions on time and gave you clear instructions. So communication and ethics, or communication is a topic or sub-aspect of ethics, and you can't exclude it. As Elizabeth said, and the previous speakers yesterday, as a legal practitioner, how you communicate is important. And you must communicate your client's mandate clearly, properly, and understand it properly. Now, the other aspect, when a client comes in, because they are angry, they are upset, or they want to do certain other things. It is your job as a legal practitioner to ensure that you provide them with the best legal service possible. And that comes to the aspect of the independence of the legal profession or the legal professional. Being independent means that you should be able to inform your client the status of the case and whether there is any prospects in the matter of success or whatever it might be. And you must do so objectively, because that's what they come to you for. Your expertise as a legal practitioner. And as a legal practitioner, you're expected to be objective. That means don't lie to your client simply because you want the instructions and the money that would come with that instruction. If there's no prospect, let's say there's a case, your client comes in and says, I want to appeal, but you realize that with that appeal, there are no prospects to appeal the matter. Inform the client. Save the client the embarrassment of having to pay costs. And we know these days where the matter is such that from the onset, it can be clear that the prospect tend to have the aspect of costs on you as a legal practitioner, because it's your job to inform the client that there is no prospect of success in the matter. Let's move up again. Tash. But also, the other aspect that has been mentioned is that as a legal practitioner, you have trust funds. Trust funds that don't belong to you. It's money that you should use to fund the legal proceedings that you have been instructed upon. But also you draft contracts, as one of my colleagues mentioned in notary, that you register those contracts, you draft those contracts, you register them. And they might be talking billions of rands, millions of rands, hundreds of millions of rands. Do not be tempted. Sometimes a client may come and ask you to conduct yourself in a manner that is unethical simply because you will get an extra something in your pocket. Do not be a part or enable that corruption. We have seen the Zondo Commission, wherein it highlighted the role of the legal professionals in enabling and being a part of corruption. Let's not bring the reputation of this noble profession into disrepute. And you, as prospective legal practitioners, don't get into the profession simply because you think you'll be making money. Get into it because you love it, because of your passion for it, because it's hard work being in it. Now, there was a aspect that I was asked also to look into about the opportunities at our office. It is a new office, as I said in the beginning, and at the moment we currently have a number of legal practitioners that are there for the complaints, and we will be looking at more as we grow. Forensic investigators we have, because we have got we have got investigative capacity and powers. ICT, we all know that today we can't do much without technology. And right now we are using technology. And this requires in the background ICT experts. They're working tirelessly to ensure that this engagement takes place efficiently and effortlessly. Communication, marketing, etc. So those are some of the opportunities that would be there. There would be HR, there would be all sorts of other fields required to ensure that our office functions efficiently and effectively. Tesh, I think I've tried to condense everything quickly in as little time as possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Godfrey, and thank you for enlightening us, because it's not just about what you do, it's about how you do it. And that's what makes the difference in this career path. While I introduce my next speaker, Mrs. Shaida Mohammed, are you here?
Morning, Tash. Yes, I'm here.
Morning. While I introduce you, you can get ready. So Mrs. Mohammed is a UNISA graduate. She served her articles of clerkship at the UNISA Law Clinic, whereafter she was admitted as an attorney and have been practicing for 10 years. She's also the coordinator of the street law project offered to the LLB students. She's also a principal attorney to 3 candidate legal practitioners at the law clinic. We welcome you, Ms. Shaida. Ms. Shaida, can you unmute yourself?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very clearly.
Okay, may I begin?
You may.
Okay. Good morning to all present. Firstly, thank you to the host and the department for inviting myself and the UNISA Law Clinic. My name is introduced to Shaida Mohammed, and I am a practicing attorney at the UNISA Law Clinic. My presentation for today is aimed at introducing and sharing information about the UNISA Law Clinic, also known as the Center of Excellence. So as an introduction, the Law Clinic is run as an independent professional attorney's practice and is recognized as such by its professional governing body, which is the Legal Practice Council. The clinic applies for and receives accreditation
Ms. Shaida, we seem to have lost you there.
Sorry about that, Tash. Can you hear me and can you see my presentation?
I can see your presentation and hear you just as well.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. It is probably connectivity. Okay, sorry, colleagues. The clinic applies for and receives accreditation and certification and adheres to the same rules applicable to any private attorney. At the UNISA Law Clinic is where you will find legal practitioners with empathy for the indigent and a drive to serve the community. At the same time, never sacrificing the exemplary high standards of legal education. So a little about the UNISA Law Clinic. It falls under the College of Law, and it is currently headed by Advocate Khagudi Morota, as pictured. We are situated at the Sunnyside campus, and we also have 3 additional branches in Polokwane, Middelburg, and Parow. The law clinic is staffed by legal practitioners, legal secretaries, advocates, legal messengers. We also have a marketing officer, a project coordinator, as well as a legal researcher. And pictured is the entire staff component of the UNISA Law Clinic. So what do we do at the Law Clinic? We strive to achieve two primary goals. The first one being clinical legal education of final year LLB students. And here we emphasize on the development of critical legal skills such as communication, administrative and drafting skills for our students. And then the second primary goal is the delivery of free legal services to indigent members of the public in line with the guidelines of the Legal Practice Council. We offer legal assistance as a service to the indigent members of our community, and these services are rendered under the control of supervised, qualified, admitted legal practitioners, and we assist with the following legal matters: divorces, maintenance, domestic violence, evictions. We also do civil litigation, labor matters, impact litigation, as well as criminal matters. So when rendering our legal services, we consult, we draft letters, notices, pleadings, we appear on behalf of clients in courts and other tribunals and forums such as the CCMA. We offer advice, we represent clients at roundtable discussions and hearings. Pictured here are two of our candidate legal practitioners, Mr. Leslin Marcus and Mr. Tibatso Hololo, both at court. So who qualifies to become a client at the UNISA Law Clinic? Clients who pass the necessary means test. This is a financial test that takes into account both the income and the expenditure of the client, as well as clients who have sufficient merits. We accept walk-in clients from Monday to Thursday. With regard to student support, we provide clinical legal education to UNISA law students through our foci plan projects. And we have 4 of those projects, namely moot court, street law, practical legal skills, and student debates. And I was happy to hear that one of the previous presenters, Mr. Bongani, explained that he participated in some of these projects, and he also emphasized the skills that he attained from his participation in our foci plan projects. We really encourage students to apply and to participate. The skills that you learn are invaluable. You are presented with certificates of participation that could be used and attached to your CVs. And just a little bit about each of the projects. With regard to the moot court, it is a mock judicial proceedings set up to examine a hypothetical case and submit legal arguments to a panel of judges. Street law is training of LLB students on practical aspects of various legal topics. Students then present to community members as a form of educating and empowering them. Then we have student debate and practical legal skills. With student debates is where students participate in an annual debate in order to develop students' writing, presentation, and argumentation skills. And practical legal skills provides free extracurricular practical legal education with specific to encourage you to apply. Each of the projects has a specific project leader or coordinator that will be able to assist you with any questions and queries that you have. And if you have any questions relating to any of the projects, please post them in the chat. And our legal secretary, Mr. Machi, is present.
Ms. Mohammed? We seem to have lost connection with her. I would advise any questions that you have to please post them in the chat, and we will have our guests then answering further. Colleagues, without further ado, I would like to then, with your permission, introduce our next speaker. And for lack of time, I'd just like to confirm, is Paulina Mlilo here?
Yes, Paulina is here.
Thank you, Ms. Paulina. I will just give you 2 minutes to just collect yourself while I introduce you. Paulina Mlilo is a 30-year-old woman who is currently in her final year.
Hi, Tash.
Yes, Ms. Shaida.
Sorry, I don't know where you lost me. But I just realized while I was going on that it seems like I'm speaking to myself and I could hear the reconnection happening. So what's the way forward?
My apologies. Can we just get the presentation then up, please, by my fellow colleague, Sharon? I do apologize, Ms. Paulina.
No problem.
Hi, Taj. I don't have Ms. Shada's presentation. However, maybe she can have it up.
Absolutely. Ms.
All right,
Shaida.
thanks.
I'm really sorry. I deeply apologize about that.
Not a problem.
Can you please let me know where you lost me so I can start from there again?
I think we covered student support, student debates, and practical legal skills before we got cut. Ms. Shaida?
Hi, Tash.
Yes, I think with this exact slide, student support, we were talking about debates, the practical legal skills.
Okay. So with regard to the practical legal skills, colleagues, the applications, like I mentioned, are opened. They close on the 31st of July, and we encourage you to please apply and participate. And then we are also collaborated with ULSA, which is the UNISA Law Students Association, for student support. And then in terms of practical vocational training and VAC work, which is where you can do your shadowing, we offer practical vocational training, previously known as articles of clerkship, to LLB graduates for a period of 2 years. And during the service of the practical vocational training, candidates are given files to work with from the very beginning until the finalization of the matter. They are given an opportunity to consult, take instructions, draft documents, and appear in court. We currently have 14 candidate legal practitioners who are serving their training and will thereafter be admitted to practice. And then towards the end of the year, with the assistance of the ULSA office, we select final year LLB students to work with us for a period of 3 weeks. We thereafter provide them with a certificate of completion, which can be used and attached to their CVs. This is the VAC work or the job shadowing. We then hold sessions, and they begin on the 19th of July. For more information about the Law Clinic, the Foci Plan projects, practical vocational training, VAC work, you can contact our head office on the numbers and email addresses provided. And we would also kindly subscribe to all of our social media platforms for updates, news, and information. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mohammed, and I'm sure that these details will be then posted in the chat for everyone to take down and note as well. Thank you for her role and your role as student support. We would like to continue our program with Ms. Paulina Molilo, who I did introduce as a 30-year-old woman who is currently in her final year of LLB. at UNISA. She started her education in 2016 when she began her grade 11 at Bethsaida Adult Training in Shoshanguve, Block L, Pretoria. She has completed her grade 12 in 2018 at the same school. In 2020, she completed her higher certificate in law. In 2021, Paulina was elected as the legal researcher of the Black Lawyers Association student chapter at the UNISA Florida campus. In 2022, she was elected as the chairperson of the branch. She also participated in street law in 2020. She participated in the Indaba student debate in 2019, 2021, and 2022. In 2022, she participated in the Moot Court and was rated under the top 10 with drafting skills. Paulina is passionate about using her legal skills to help students and others. She hopes to become an advocate after she graduates from UNISA. She has also been accepted to study for an LLM in cyber law. In her free time, Paulina enjoys reading, writing, and spending time with her family. She's a dedicated student. She's a valuable asset to the Black Lawyers Association student chapter, UNISA Florida campus, and she is looking forward to being a successful advocate. Ms. Paulina, we welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you for the time. I just want to apologize in case maybe there is a noise behind me at the back of me because of the load shedding. I just tried to arrange for the other alternative in the last minute, but thank you for the opportunity. I'll just open my camera, maybe you guys, so that you guys can see who is speaking and have a picture in the mind. Okay, my name is Paulina Mlilo, a final year student, as they have already introduced me. Am I audible?
You are audible, ma'am.
Okay. I am the chairperson of Black Lawyers Association student chapter based in UNISA Florida campus. So the students, they have, I think some of them, they know about BLA, but some they don't know. So if you don't know about BLA today, it's a chance to know about BLA. Most of the students, they call it BLASK, of which it's not BLASK because we don't have a BLASK mother body. We only have a BLA mother body. So my advice to the students, to the members of BLA, let's call it BLASC. So which stands for Black Lawyers Association Student Chapter. We are based at UNISA Florida campus. And we are saying we are keeping the torch burning. So the objectives and the aims for Black Lawyers Association Student Chapter, it is committed to social transformation, foster, to protect and to uphold the rights and the interest of its members. It upholds, it also protects and advances human rights, civil liberties, and the rule of law. It also cooperates with bodies that have similar objectives. For example, in UNISA, we have the other student chapters which have the similar objectives like ULSA, as they have already explained about the ULSA. We have SAULA. Yeah, those are the structures that have similar objectives like BLA. We also fight and challenge all the discriminatory practices. In this case, we also fight for the discriminatory in students. We also strive for the empowerment of women, of which, if we say we strive for the empowerment of women, our constitution, like when we are electing our leadership, the 50% must be women and the 50% must be male, then the 50% must be female. Or sometimes we end in a situation where we are having 60 or 80% female in leadership, then the other 40 or 30% will be male, of which that's where we say we are empowering women. Without limitation to its aims and objectives for BLA, as already it's been mentioned herein, like any, as already it has been mentioned, as it has been already mentioned herein, we do any of the things which advance its image. As we do all the things, meaning the students, we bring together law students to attend the different and various events. As I'm going further, I will explain. So in BLA, we have its BEC, which is the Branch Executive Committee. It has 9 offices. which is the chairperson, the deputy chairperson, the secretary, the deputy secretary, the treasurer, the media and publicity officer, the academic and legal research officer, projects. The last one is projects and events coordinator, of which I'm not going to go into detail in it. If you are interested, you will let me know. I believe everyone is asking who can join BLA. What must I do to join BLA? Okay, as long you are a student which is registered, we are a law student who is registered or who are doing the qualification that leads to law. For example, LLB, BA law, become law, higher certificate in law, higher certificate in criminal justice, and all qualifications in College of Law. You can be a member of BLA. And also in our group, we also have the postgraduate students. For example, the candidates who are LLM candidates, we also have them to join BLA. They can qualify to join BLA. Our membership is open to all registered law students, irrespective of color. You are black, you are white, as long as you feel that you can associate with black students, you are allowed to join us. The race, we don't care about the race. We are from South Africa, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, all the countries. You are all welcome to join BLA. And also to all those who accept the BLA policies, the principles, and who are going also to abide by its constitution, they are welcome to join the BLA. The BLA membership is renewed annually. For UNISA Florida campus, the membership it's 40 rand annually, of which you will renew it annually. We have events for our members. Mostly we try by all means to cater for everyone, but looking on the side of the BLA members, we have close to 400 students, of which it makes it difficult for us to cater for everyone. We end up being catering for BLA members only. So the BLA UNISA Florida campus on 2021 to 2022 academic year, we got a certificate for the most successful events and the programs among the Black Lawyers Association student chapter branches in South Africa. So this shows very well that we have the events, we have that space for our students to attend events, to network with everyone in the event. Then we also share the information that is important to our students. Then I think early this semester we are having the event for court observation, where we are having students, then we are going for court observation, of which it was a great event, and we are having close to 50-something students who participated in this program. But because we are based in UNISA Florida campus, so mostly our locations, let's say our jurisdiction where, let's say we are going to go to court, it will be Johannesburg Magistrate Court and maybe Roodepoort Magistrate Court. That's where we are having this event, of which we received a lot of numbers of students who participated in this event. And we are still looking forward to have more events like these ones this semester as we commence on semester 2. There is a program that we are running as a Black Lawyers Association student chapter for contributing laptops to the students that are in need. We have some members that were BLA members and they were not having laptops to do their assignments. They were using phone. Can you imagine someone typing a research with using a phone, of which it's not fair. So we're like, you know what, as BLA, we will go extra mile to provide our members with the laptop so that they can continue with their studying, and we make everything to be easy for them, of which we were lucky to say we contributed a laptop to one of the students. We are still looking forward as we are currently waiting for our sponsors to help students in this situation. Let's say we are having also the event for human rights, where we are invited by the Department of Justice. So I was the coordinator of the event. We are attending the event for human rights by the Department of Justice. So I was given a task to organize students to go and attend the event, of which each and every event, we don't come empty-handed. We have something, we are going to learn something from that event. We were also the luckiest ones to have the event with Department of Justice again in the National Conference of the Constitutional, where we are reflection and the road ahead, where we are likely to be in the same event or in the same room with our president and other ministers who participated in the event. We also have the recruitment drive that runs from during the first semester registration and the second semester registration. My contact details, if you are interested to join the BLA SC UNISA Florida campus, my contact details, I will share them on the chat. And our email address is blascflorida@gmail.com. If you want to know more about BLA or you want to just give a look at our constitution, you will kindly send us an email, then we will communicate after that. We also have an Instagram page, of which here I did not include all the programs that we have had from the first semester. But you can go also to our Instagram page, which is UNISA_BLASC_Florida. That's where you can see more about BLA, what we have been doing, how active are we. As we are commencing with second semester, we are currently on pause. We did not have any programs since we have started with our exams. So we know the pressure that comes with the exams. We know how it is. It's not easy to attend an event while we are busy preparing for exam. So yeah, you will go to the internet, to Instagram to kindly find more programs about BLA that we had. Another thing that I would like to encourage the students, it doesn't matter whether you are BLA, whether you are ULSA, whether you are SAULA. What makes us students is only one thing. We all have a passion to complete our studies. We all have a passion to be lawyers at the end of the day. We are looking forward to say we are going to be an attorney. I'm going to specialize in different fields. But as a law student, you can't study law and be in isolation. Come out, law students, join other structures, be active on the structures. Don't just join for you. Be active on those structures. At least it will motivate you to complete your studies and to get assistance from other one. Trust me, on those 40 modules that we have, no one can master all the 40 modules. So we have started this thing in BLA saying we have people who are mastering at conveyancing. Can we have someone from conveyancing and come and help students where they can? Mostly we do it physically in Florida campus. So we are looking forward to do it more often because we have seen the struggles. For example, the first years that are coming in, they don't know anything about SJD, they don't know anything about AFL. So us, we are saying we are going to help those students to be able to maneuver around to those modules that are fully online, to introduce them and welcome them in the UNISA system. Lastly, in closing, I have a quote from the American poet called Marty Stepanek. I quote, "Unity is strength. When there is a teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved." In closing, by quoting this, I'm saying, when we come together as law students, we can achieve a lot of things. But when we are studying in isolation, it makes things to be difficult for everyone. You need the motivation. If you're attending the events, let's say maybe we are going to law clinic, you attend those events, you become home motivated, so that you say, you know what, I'm completing my studies. I want to look like someone else. In closing, I say thank you for the opportunity that I get. I wish everyone the best as we're commencing in the second semester. We keep the torch burning. We are BLA SC. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Ms. Paulina, for that inspirational tone. I loved it. And I thank you to UNISA for supporting our students, because we really stand on the shoulders of giants to make our dreams come true. So thank you for that. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I will be asking my colleagues to post the evaluation forms. It is just a poll and there will be questions. Can you please answer? This is for our responses and for statistical purposes. And while you are doing that, I would like to call upon my colleague, Mr. Monwabisi May, to do the vote of thanks and closing for us for this wonderful day. Thank you very, very much. Mr. May, are you in?
Hi, Tash. It's Sharon here. I don't think Mr. May is in. Kindly check with Mr. Makahani. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Good afternoon, colleagues and our fellow students. I think I'm tasked to do the closing due to the absence of Mr. May. Therefore, I think I would love to start by thanking the following people: Ms. Gloria Tashlin, the MC of the day, which are the program directors in a higher language. In fact, in academia, we call them program directors. Thank you very much, guys, for running a well program. This shows that there is a growth here, and it's we really need this. It's important for us to also note that running a program is a job and a half, and behind this, there were people also who cannot mention name who have made this workshop possible. I call these workshops awareness in my language, because there's a lot of learning through them, as well as the awareness that has been brought about by different speakers. Also, I'll thank our very own Mama Shumavua for opening and taking out the nerves from many of the speakers, including everyone, by giving us the purpose and welcoming us in the day. Thank you very much, Mama Shu. We appreciate you. Keep up the good work. NPA, when you were presenting, and I saw PP, I said, this is a public prosecutor, and is your name. Therefore, thank you very much. I think you have given us information that we were not aware of. We always think when we see the NPA and we always find ourselves being scared, what is happening here and so on. But you tried your level best to show us and to clarify a lot of things that is happening within the NPA. And also you showed us there's a lot of opportunities within the NPA, which we were not aware of, I think our students are going to benefit a lot with regards to that, because going forward, they are not going to ask anyone. That, like one of the speakers mentioned, that this is, I think students as well, they mentioned that this is very important. Why? Because it gives them awareness and gives them the opportunity for internship, because these things were hidden. So now it has been brought into our shores. So therefore, if we don't utilize this, it's going to be you are lost, because we are trying our level best to make sure that our students get the best of it. We really appreciate you because of that, and you have done a marvelous work showing us that there's a difference between the NPA. There's an issue of police, there's an issue of prosecuting authority, which you work closely, and we did not know that, because anytime when we see that there's a case going on, we always ask ourselves what's going to happen, who's going to do what. So now you make it clear for us to understand the distinction between all those aspects. Thank you very much. Bongani, our very own alumni, we always meet in the corridor when you were a student here in Ekurhuleni, but I didn't know that you have learned so much, and it's very important for us to realize that you are planting back to the society and the UNISA as a whole. And this alone, I was talking to my colleague today who is on the verge of going to the UK. So one thing that came to the mind, he says to me, you know what, I'm doing an interview to go to the UK. I said, hey, you are UNISA students, right? He said, yes, I was a UNISA student. So I said, you are an alumni? He said, yes. He said, UK recognize UNISA and UCT. Those are the only two institutions that does not write a competency test for English, because UNISA is one of the top and the UCT at the second one. So the other universities, just imagine, all other South African universities have to write a competency test for English, except UNISA students and UCT students. That was very, very interesting. What does that supposed to mean to you guys? It means that those things that you have been told that UNISA is gone down, UNISA is this, UNISA is that, it's just a lie, you know. And that alone, it makes me to feel proud, you know. I said to myself, wow, UK recognizing UNISA? He said, you know what, whenever you are going to UK, you're going for a way to work there, they don't ask you any competency test. They'll ask you some of the things that I ask everyone, but when it comes to the English written language, they don't ask you that because they say you are coming from UNISA. Thank you very much for that, Bongani. Advocate Elizabeth, we cannot thank you enough. You know, you gave us our strength and opportunity to understand the legal aid, as well as knowing them, that you are allowing them to come and see you. That is big. To me, it's huge, because to me, it's like a work shadowing on itself, on its best, you know. So we really appreciate you. I don't want to lie to you. I appreciate you in every way, and please keep on doing this, because our students need a lot of this. They need to get a hands-on training so that when they go out there, they will start to understand what is required of them. Please go ahead and try to do this. And every time when we ask you, please come and help our students, because every year we're going to have these things going on, and we are doing it for the sake of the country, not only for UNISA students, but everyone at a go. They must get this information because they are going to use it, and we need well-polished lawyers. I did not know that there's different types of lawyers. I want to just think, when I need a lawyer, I need a lawyer. Then they are advocate, they are prosecutor, and so on, and they do the different things. So that alone, it makes me to feel well informed, and that alone, it's also gonna give me an opportunity to refer people and said, when faced with this kind of situation, I think the first person to consult is a lawyer. From there, you can go and see the advocate, because all of them, they've got a different role to play, and then it's important for us to note that. Mr. Sam, this area of conveyancer, I did not know it that much. I do not know what to lie, but you opened my mind today, and I thank you very much for giving us that, because our students have got now an opportunity to choose a different stream when they are finished with their studies. Okay, although it's a LLB, which is a generic degree, but after I can decide whether I wanted to be a conveyancer or I wanted to do those are drafting of the contract. I heard you talking about a lot of money, 600,000 the contract and so on. I said, wow, that's why I was so surprised why lawyers have got so big houses and big cars. Until they've got a lot of work that they're doing behind. The suffering that you are going through now, you must remember that in the shortest time of period, you can cover for everything that I've gone through. So having said that, I'm not saying everyone must decide to become a lawyer. Imagine all country becomes having only the conveyancer or lawyers. What's going to happen? There should be us who are education psychologists, because we need to work with our mental health. You lawyers as well, you need us, you know. Yeah, so Godfrey, legal ombudsman, you talk about the ethics, the part of the things that I like the most, because even in psychology, we've got the ethics. So ethics runs all over the places. So you mentioned the issue of people. Thank you very much, Godfrey, because you mentioned issues such as, despite the fact that there's a lot of money, you need to also think about your ethics, because you can be in trouble. There's a lot of people with it. This lawyer has been arrested, this prosecutor has been arrested because they took the chocho and so on. So I think it's important for them to, while you are still studying the ethic modules from the beginning of the year, apart from the ethic modules itself, you must also think about yourself. What is going to happen if I start taking chocho? I put money in the side and said, okay, I can really run with this. I think when one of the speakers mentioned the issue of the difference between criminal law and so on. So you need to think about your ethics. You need to think about your culture. You need to look at organizational culture. Why? Because you can't just choose a career which is going to be against your belief system. You need to look at which kind of law do I want to be? Do I want to represent the criminals? Do I want to stand on the other side where I will be the judge of those people who have done wrong? So those aspects, you have clarified them for us, and it's very important for us to always think about that. That is why there was an issue of ombudsman, wherein you can report your case when somebody is not doing the right thing. You report them. We need to report them if they're not doing the job correctly. Shaida, Thank you very much. The law clinic is always there, and we know about it because I'm a UNISA employee. I heard about it, I know about the street law, and it was also mentioned by one of the colleagues there who was also part of our students, telling us about what is the rule of that. We need to go through this and through that. You gave us a whole lot to consume that, despite the fact that our student might not get some internship somewhere else and so on, but there's also an opportunity within UNISA due to the law clinic which they can go through. So I think, Shaida, you gave us a mouthful, and we appreciate you for that. And please continue giving our students this, because they need to know this. Sometimes a lack of information can make people to go do a lot of wrong things at the process. I was surprised and asking myself about the BLA, It says Black Lawyers Association, but I heard you talking about you don't discriminate, which means to me it takes also white students, colored students, yellow students. It doesn't matter which color are you. It's just a name, BLA, Black Lawyers Association. I think it has been framed in the sense that it started by black people and so on, or whatever. But when I saw the name, I was thinking, Paulina, it's all about only black. If you are from the other race, you are not accepted or allowed here. But you clarified that to me today, and thank you very much for that. And having said that, my most, not to say that one as what I did was the least. The most goes to our students who brave the call in making sure that they wanted this information. You students, you are very important to us. That's why we have got these workshops ongoing to make sure that we had one yesterday, we have this one today. And we appreciate you for coming and listening to them that you need before you make any wrong choices and so on. So it is very important for us to note that it's not only about us, it's for students. So therefore, that is why we run this workshop. Having said that, my name is Lipatwani Makahane, a student counselor in Ekurhuleni. I want to stop here and thank you very much, because I might be starting my own workshop again here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Makahane, and thank you to everybody that contributed to a very successful two-day event. Mr. Pula, over to you.
Hi, Tash. Yes, I'm not sure if even Mr. Play is able to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, but I'm not sure if ever Gloria is Gloria. All right, Tash, did you need assistance with anything? Maybe I can assist.
Just signing off. Thank you very much, Sharon.
All right, thank you so much. To everyone in attendance, Mr. Makahane has already done the formal vote of thanks. From us to you.